Okay, guys, shall we start?
Yes, when you want.
Okay, then. Good morning, everybody. My name is Marcin Couch, and I'll have hopefully a pleasure to host this meeting. This is a meeting, one of the series. This is the third one. We are talking about obtaining the solution for the hospitals, which will be hospital water, wastewater treatment. I don't know whether we have any newcomers. If so, please I would like you to refer to our previous meetings. They are recorded. They are probably already available online on our website, or will be shortly, as well as this one. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get the proper window. Okay. Will be like more official welcoming just in a second. I'll present some house rules, tell you about Theresa, maybe say again if you're here not a newcomer. Then we'll have sessions concerning what the PCP is and open market consultation. Then we will provide you the technical elements, requirements of what we want. And at the end of the day, we will also present the host, the Olsztyn Hospital, and its environments. Okay, so now officially, welcome. We are here. We gathered here to learn more about the solution we want to buy. Theresa is an EU-funded project that is supposed to find or seek solution concerning the wastewater treatment. In a moment, I'll tell you why it is so important. Okay. Some house rules. First of all, this is recorded, as some of you probably noticed. So if you do not wish to be seen, please just keep your camera off. This will also be made available as our previous events. So if you missed something or you want to get back to something, you can always do that. If you had any questions, I do hope you will have questions or comments. They are very valuable for us. This is what OMC is about. So questions, discussion, doubts, questioning things. So please just write them in a chat box, and if this is something that we are able to address immediately, just do it on the spot. But if it requires some checking or some data numbers, then we will take it and publish the answer online, so everybody will see that. And do not be afraid, this list of participants will not be disseminated in any way. As far as the presentation of Olsztyn Hospital is concerned, we prepared quite a lot of information, and we don't go much into details with that. We just wanted you to have all necessary things in one place. So a lot of text on the slides, but do not worry, we're not going to read it for you. We're not going, to discuss it endlessly. Okay, then. How about the project? As I mentioned, the project is funded by the European Commission. European Commission is very concerned about the environment. This is one. It is also very concerned about the way in which EU is progressing or is doing. That's why they really promote the pre-commercial procurement as a tool to go more into innovation and to somehow support innovations. Since that's what the project is about, what we are looking for is something that is not ready yet. So if you've been selling, I'm just talking to the suppliers, if you've been selling some products for last, 10 years, that's not our interest. We would like to see something new, something that is not yet commercially available, and we have a certain budget to support you develop such a thing. The problem of hospital wastewater is growing, and it's really getting more and more important for a number of reasons. First of all, we are all getting older, and the societies are getting older, which means that there's a bigger demand for healthcare. It's a bigger demand for healthcare. It means like drugs, all kinds of things that are supporting us with a good quality of life. So this, since we are aging, as I said, this problem is growing. So what we are talking about now has, let's say, a bright future, if I can use that phrase. If you are able to provide a solution, you'll be able to sell it for a long time. So that's the challenge, and that's the scene behind that. All right. So what is that we want? Well, we want to find a solution that will treat the water, and since this is a consortium of hospitals, we came to something that we all agree upon, and there are some, let's say, additional requirements or requests from individual hospitals. So we want the solution to be modular, to be interoperable. In a moment, I'll show you the slide with a map of Europe where we are located. So you'll see that we are located almost all over Europe. So this solution has to be good for everybody. And if it's good for everybody in our consortium, then probably it's good for anybody in Europe. There will be the list of contaminants that we want to get rid of. Since we work on limited budget and then we don't have too much money. Healthcare, this is very expensive, but on the other hand, there's always not enough money. So we seek solution that is feasible to install, that is cost effective, or I would even say very cost effective. And it has to be something that works with what already exists. So we have certain systems in place. We want your solution to work with that. And here in the brackets, you can see that I also mentioned the reuse of water. This is something that is also of the interest of the hospitals. This won't be a mandatory condition, though it will be very welcome, and you offer something like that. It's because hospitals use tons of water every day, actually. So if we can somehow go into more circular economy, reuse of water, it will be really good for us and also good for the supplier. This is our consortium. We are coordinated by our leader from Navarra Biomed. Then we have a list of people who are the hospitals, and Navarra is also one of the hospitals. And we have a list of supporting partners who are trying to get us, on the other side of the bridge through this process. I mentioned the map, and here you can see that. So we have 3 hospitals in Spain, 1 in the Netherlands, Belgium, Poland, Estonia. So as you can see, we almost have everything. Probably if we had 1 from Bulgaria or 1 from Sweden, then we'll say that we covered really everything. That's why I said that if it works for us, it's probably work everywhere. All right then. So now to Bartosz or whoever else. Guys?
Okay, now it's starting the functional and technical requirements. The first one is the state of the art for IFA. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, in a presentation mode.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I start?
Yes, you can see the slide for the state of the art.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Ewa Neczaj. In my presentation, I will discuss the hospital wastewater management system, methods for hospital wastewater treatment. I would like to show you an example of hybrid system treatment efficiency in real conditions. And now, next, I would like to show to tell something about the limitation and challenges of the hospital wastewater treatment, and in the end, gaps and limitation of the STOTA. May I have next slide? Hospital wastewater treatment is categorized into on-site and off-site system. On-site system refer to the wastewater treatment facilities installed directly in healthcare facilities to treat hospital effluents before discharge of municipal server. But few hospitals have their own on-site wastewater treatment system. Off-site system or centralized treatment refers to the conventional approach where hospital wastewater is discharged directly to the municipal sewage server and treated in centralized municipal wastewater treatment plants. Next slide, please. Conventional treatment process in mechanical, biological wastewater treatment plant involves primary settling, secondary biological treatment, and disinfection. Disinfection is required when you want to reuse, for example, water in agriculture. A tertiary wastewater treatment stage of wastewater treatment is increasingly being reintroduced in the municipal wastewater treatment plants. This is due to the need of increase the rate of water recovery from wastewater for use. And to legislative changes. The new wastewater directive requires the removal of selected micropollutants from wastewater. In this stage, it is possible to different methods for disinfection, for oxidation of different types of micropollutants. The main limitation of the offsite hospital wastewater management system is that the most wastewater treatment plants are not designed to remove micropollutants like antibiotics, cytostatic drugs, or specific antibiotic-resistant genes. Next slide, please. Technological solution for hospital wastewater treatment, both those available on the market and those in the intensive development phase, use methods that can be divided into the three main groups. Physical methods, biological, and physical, chemical, it depends on the method. Biological methods covers mainly bioreactors, different kinds of reactors like MBR and others, and biofighters. Physical mainly including membrane processes and its absorption. The third group is very large. It covers disinfection methods, any oxidation methods like advanced oxidation process, photocatalytic system. Due to the composition of the hospital wastewater, it cannot be treated using one single process, and for this reason, both methods are combined and used in a hybrid system. The next slide, please. As I have already mentioned, the dominant physical methods in technologies dedicated to hospital wastewater are membrane processes and adsorption. Microfiltration and ultrafiltration is used mainly in the membrane bioreactors or as a pre-treatment step before the, for example, nanofiltration or RO. The main benefit of microfiltration or ultrafiltration is that they removal almost total suspended solid. The retention of pathogen is high. They are compact footprint, they have compact footprint, and they are modularity. The limitation is that the microfiltration and ultrafiltration have low efficiency or pharmaceuticals, and the main technical limitation is membrane fouling. Nanofiltration and reverse osmosis have high efficiency of pharmaceutical removal, up to 99%. Excellent efficiency in pathogen removal, compact footprint, modularity, and compact footprint. The main limitation is, of course, membrane fouling and generation of concentrate streams, which require proper disposal. And limitation also are capital costs very high and high operating cost. The energy consumption is between 1.5 to 3 kilowatt hours per cubic meter. Adsorption is next methods used for removal of pharmaceutical. The efficiency is moderate. How very poor. Pathogen removal is very poor, so this is my mistake. Sorry, this is not advantages. This is a serious limitation. Advantages of the adsorption on gas or pads have also medium footprint. The main challenges of these technologies is sometimes some components are poorly removed and can be demanded impractical doses of the activated carbon. Adsorption, regeneration of the adsorbent are required. Also, the cost depends on the process, and operating costs are medium or high. The next slide, please. The next group is physical, chemical, and chemical methods. It's a very large group of methods. The most popular is ozonation. Advantages are pharmaceutical removal good, pathogen removal excellent, and small print. The main limitation is bromide formation, corrosion potential of ozone, a very high capital cost and high operating cost. UV is a typical method used for disinfection. It has a very good efficiency of pathogen removal, small footprint, capital costs are medium, operating cost also medium, and energy consumption is relatively low. The main limitation is a poor efficiency or poor or moderate efficiency in pharmaceutical removal. A very large group is advanced oxidation processes or advanced oxidation process. Here you can see the advantages and limitation of one of them, combining UV with peroxide. So removal of pharmaceutical is really excellent. Also excellent pathogen removal, small footprint, but the main limitation and challenges is formation of a toxic byproduct, very high capital cost and operating cost. The next example is electrochemical treatment. Good pharmaceutical removal, good pathogen removal, small footprint, but the main limitation are electrode fouling, capital cost, and operating cost. Chlorination is not good idea because also the oxidation byproducts are generated, but the generated main advantages is really low capital cost and operating cost. The next slide, please. Biological methods covers many different bioreactors, like MBBR, and different types of filters. MBBR is common use in a hybrid system. Main advantages covers high total suspended solid removal, high pathogen retention, compact footprint, and modularity. Of course, the removal of efficiency, the pharmaceutical removal efficiency is moderate, depend on the manufacturers. The main limitations: membrane fouling, capital cost, and operating cost. The next bioreactor, MBBR reactor, is also used in conventional technologies. The main advantages are high biomass retention, resistant to shock load, very high efficiency of pharmaceutical removal, compact footprint, and modularity. Limitation covers potential for media clogging and generally, I can see a mistake. Of course, the main limitation of this bioreactor is high capital cost and high operating cost. Of course, we can use technologies conventional activated sludge. However, this technology is the efficiency of the pharmaceutical removal is really low, but also the pathogens, but the conventional activated sludge treatment has low capital cost and operating cost. Biofilters can be also used in the technologies. The efficiency of the removal in this process are moderate or high. The main limitation covers potential clogging. Sometimes additional carbon resources are required. Moderate capital cost and operating cost. The next slide, please. Hybrid system are the predominant solutions. As you can see in the technology ready for use in the market, the main system combining biological method and advanced oxidation treatment, advanced processes. The main advantages of the hybrid system is comprehensive contaminant removal, addressing both conventional pollutants and emerging contaminants. Synergistic effect combining processes often achieve better performance than the sum of the individual process. Operational flexibility, multi-treatment stage provide redundancy and adaptability. Cost optimization, biological pretreatment reduce the load of expensive advanced process. The next slide, please. You can see on the next slide the efficiency of the treatment, hospital treatment process in a hybrid system. These results are from the real hospital. The efficiency of pharmaceutical removal is high, but only two compounds are relevant to the Theresa project, is ciprofloxacin and clarithromycin. As you can see, the efficiency are really very high. This is more than 95%, almost 100%. The concentration of the pharmaceutical effluent is also really low. For ciprofloxacin is below 100 nanograms per liter, and below 20 nanograms for clarithromycin. We don't know nothing about the environmental emission, about the energy consumption, water consumption, about the any environmental aspect which can help us to assess the environmental added value of this technology. There is a lack of information, no information about antibiotic-resistant genes, antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and cytostatic drugs. The same situation is in commercial solution dedicated for hospital wastewater, such as PharmaFilter and Xena, Ultra Aqua. So we have really problem to assess the ability of this technology to treat hospital wastewater treatment. Next slide, please. The main challenges and limitation of the wastewater treatment technologies is energy consumption and sustainability, transformation of products and toxicity of the effluent, scale up and implementation gaps, economic barriers, and problem with properly management of concentrated or sludge in case of biological process, and of course regulatory uncertainty. May I have the next slide? The main gaps and limitation of the state-of-the-art analysis is the lack of technological solutions. The solutions: compact modular system, easy to operate, waste-free. And the next one is technical limitations, on-site scalability, integration with hospital infrastructure. Economic limitation, how high OPEX and CAPEX of the proposed technical solution, and no legal regulation for wastewater dirt from the hospital into a municipal sewage system for all European countries. Based on this gaps and limitation and assumption, I can say that no single state-of-the-art solution fully addresses hospital-specific constraints. Thank you very much. That's all.
Okay, Bartosz,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go.
Thank you so much, Eva. So now it's time for Egli. Do you want me to share or do you want to?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
First of all, thank you, Eva, for the comprehensive presentation. So, my name is Egli Roka. I am economic procurement consultant at Corvus, and we are partners in the Theresa PCP consortium. So, the next presentation is going to be focused on the contaminants for each category that we are targeting as a project. And it's not going to be, the purpose of it is not going to be to present its individual contaminant and the list, because as you probably know, if you go to the website, you can access all the list and the short list of contaminants, you can find it there. The purpose here is to explain you the logic and the methodology of how we derived and shortlisted these contaminants for each category. So first of all, as maybe you probably know, as a Theresa PCP, as a project, we target 4 categories: the cytostatics, X-ray contact agents, antibiotics, RBs, and RGs. And we want our solution to target all these 4 categories. And for each category, we have shortlisted some specific contaminants that we want the solution that is going to be provided by the companies to target those specific contaminants. Next. So in order to derive those shortlists for each category, we followed a process and a methodology. And it was kind of a long process. I mean, we started in September with a kickoff meeting, and we finished, and we're still working on the general requirements. And after a long process, we finalized the list of contaminants for each category. So that methodology started, as I said, in September with the kickoff meeting of the project, and where we had an on-site workshop, and which then each end user was grouped by category for according to expertise. Then we requested each end user to appoint a designated expert that is going to help us with the workshop that we organized. And of course, depending on the topic and the expertise, each hospital was bringing experts according to the need. Then we shared an initial matrix with the suggested contaminants that we should target as category. This matrix was basically provided by Novara, FMS Hospital, the lead procurer. Then, based on that, we started our first initial process in order to kind of try to see which contaminants we are going to target for each category. Then we had organized bi-weekly meetings with the hospitals to ensure alignments and to discuss which contaminants we need to target. And of course, we had also ad hoc meetings that based on the need and every week. Then the next step of the process was that we requested for the hospital to provide lists with the most common used drugs in the facilities for each category. That was the basis of our discussion. And then, based on the above list, each hospital had to choose which are the target contaminants that they want the solution to address. And basically that shortlisting was based on several factors. First of all, as I said, because on consumption, because these are the most commonly used drugs. Then importance for each hospitals, toxicity. Then we tried also to find commonalities to see what are the drugs that are more used in each hospital. So we see and try to shortlist those. Then for each category, we try based on the properties of the category to see if we can organize it into families and target the whole family, or we are going to keep it individual and target individual substances. So as you are going to see in a bit, for antibiotics and cytostatics, for example, we group them into families. But for the RBs and RGs, because the property of the category is different, we're targeting individual substances. Then, as a further refinement, we organized ad hoc meetings into smaller groups where experts from each hospitals choose the final list of contaminants for each category. Then, of course, that final list was validated in workshops by all the hospitals. And as I said, that the shortlist had two elements. It was the input from the hospitals themselves, like the drugs that they use in the hospitals, the ecotoxicity, the environmental aspects, and the importance for the facilities. But also at the same time, we consulted international databases like the World Health Organization and list there in order for our shortlist, our data, contaminants that we target to be as more complete and comprehensive as possible. Next. So now we are going to go for each category, the contaminant that we choose, and kind of to explain the logic behind it. I'm not going to go through the full list because, as I said, you have the full list in the website. You can go to OMC, you can access all the documents and see what specifically we are targeting. Just I'm going to go through the logic behind each category. First, for the cytostatic drugs, again, the selection here was based into families, and these families that we have several components, are the ones that more widely use drugs in the hospitals, and at the same time they were shortlisted based on high environmental relevance and ecotoxicity. And as you can see, the selected drugs span major classes like DNA damaging, platinum agents, inhibitors, etc. Next. The next category is the antibiotics, that again, it was shortlisted into families. So we are targeting 8 distinct several families. And again, this list had two elements. We took the initial list that the hospital provided of the drugs that are used, most commonly used antibiotics in the hospitals. Then we complement it and making sure it aligns with the World Health Organization priority pathogens classifications. And here, we focus on the critical groups, high groups, and middle groups. And here, the 83 families that we choose ensure coverage of widely used antibiotics with significant resistance concern. Next. And the next category is the X-ray contrast agents. Again, here we went with the family approach, and basically we split it in two distinct groups. We're focusing on CT and MRI agents, and again, this was based on what is most commonly used by the hospitals, that as Marcin correctly explained, that we believe that what is being used at the hospital is being used widely in the whole Europe. And that is the reason that we are also targeting we are focused on targeting specific groups. And we split that into groups and families, because okay, one hospital may not use ioxazole, for example, but probably is using another contact media in that category. So we believe that by focusing on the families and the groups, we are making our solution also to be used in the current 7 hospitals that we have, but also it has the possibility to be scalable and be used all around Europe. And next slide. The last category is the RBs and RGs list. Here, we follow the different approach. We are targeting individual drugs and contaminants because based on the properties of this category, we believe that it's not a good approach to target families. Rather, we are targeting individual substances. And here, the selection has been made following the World Health Organization priority pathogens list. And next. Also, besides those 4 categories that are a priority for us and the solution must treat those substances, also we are targeting some additional drugs. We are targeting the drugs listed in the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive as well as the Water Framework Directive. These are nice to have, should be preferably targeted, but we believe that since we are seeing that the European regulations are moving that way, and in the future, those drugs and those substances mentioned in those directives are going to be asked for the hospitals to be covered, we believe that preferably we would like to have them. And we believe that for a solution it would be nice to address also these categories. And that's it from my presentation. Please write in the chat, in the Q&A section, if you have any questions, or please raise your hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Egli. Who's next, Bartosz?
The next one is Isabella, so I'm gonna share the presentation.
Yes, Isabella, the show is
Yeah,
the show
I'm
is
here
yours.
all the time, listening carefully. So if you could share the presentation. So let me now discuss with you a little bit on the constraints and different limitations that refer to the potential Theresa PCP solutions. These constraints and limitations have itself a constraint and limitation. I mean, this has been prepared based on the baseline situation at the target hospitals. It does not include the constraints and limitations resulting from different regulatory constraints or the limitations of the technologies themselves. I think that Eva made already a very nice introduction to that part. Nevertheless, it is an ongoing process. We are collecting this information. Nevertheless, already this constraints and limitations provide you with a good understanding on into which circumstances, operational environments you need to fit with your solutions. So I've made my presentation based on 4 different categories to make it easier for you to understand. These are the technical and infrastructure related constraints and limitations, the operational and organizational constraints, regulatory and compliance things, and baseline data related constraints, which are also one of the major concerns here. So next slide, please. Bartosz, can you? Yeah, okay, thank you. So concerning the technical and infrastructure constraints and limitations, first of all, you have to be aware that not every of the hospitals is separating or segregating the different waste streams. So you have to count with some mixed or largely mixed even wastewater streams coming from the laboratories, from the kitchens. Sometimes they may include also some radioactive part in them. Although in several hospitals, the issue of radioactive wastewater is carried out because they are seasoned or treated separately, but this is not always the case. So you also have to consider that the loads of the contaminants in the effluent, influent actually to your technology may vary a lot. They may vary in concentrations. They may also vary in peaks. This is something that we're investigating right out, and in particular for the target contaminants that Egli presented to you a moment ago. Then you have to deal also with some complicated infrastructures because many of the hospitals have several discharge points. It depends on the size of the hospital, depends if in the buildings and the structures themselves. So sometimes the sites are also very large. Sometimes the buried infrastructures are quite deep, up to even 6 meters, which may complicate a little bit the hydraulic connections. And you have also to be aware of the fact that the centralized treatment is very often difficult or costly or even not the case. So that means that we are, as it has been already repeated here several times, we are looking for solutions that are, first of all, modular, and they are also decentralized or semi-centralized in their design, so that they are able to fit into the different operational environments and infrastructures of the hospitals. You also have to deal with the fact that all practically or majority of the hospitals has some issues with the space limitations. And that refers both to the outer or to the indoor and outdoor installations. You have to count with several square meters for the outdoor installations, and only very limited space if you think about any indoor space installations. And of course, because we're talking about hospitals, the constraints refer also to the places where those installations are to be installed. So they cannot cause any disturbances to the normal operations of the hospitals, emergency roads, transport, medical logistics, and so on. In terms of water reuse, because that was also an issue, you need to be aware of that the hospitals, except for 2, do not have any internal water reuse loops. There are some practices in using reusing water, but this is mainly stormwater. So there are no dedicated installations for the reuse options of water recovered or recycled from the hospital effluent. That's also another thing that you have to deal with is especially for the indoor installations, that they have to be compact, they have to be modular. You have also to consider whatever goes to the parameters like vibration. This has to be low noise, of course, and of course, the reuse of water is not here the predominant value. It's something nice to have. But if you are able to provide anything like that, you also have to consider the space constraints within the hospitals, because these systems may require any storage and a balancing. So you need to provide either a solution that would allow for continuous use of this water, or check what is the potential for the storage of the water for reuse. On the utilities and integration limitations, you have to take into account some issues that may be related to connecting to electricity. We didn't get any information if there is access to renewable energy sources at the hospitals. This is in the aspect of the potential reductions in energy consumption through, for example, connection into renewable energy sources. So water supply, if this is needed for your installation, may also be distant and will require some extra connections. There is a strong interest that the solutions will need to be connected to the building monitoring systems, as well as have some solutions that would allow for the safe use in terms of IT policies and cyber security. On the next slide, please. On the operational and organizational constraints, these solutions, well, the hospitals have limited capacities. They have also limited staff to operate this equipment. Sometimes these type of services are outsourced. So we are looking for solutions that would be low maintenance, that would be highly automated, of course, operating 24 hours per 7, operable without any specialized staff, and of course fail safe. And something that I've already mentioned, the noise constraints, odors, which are very important, and the solutions also have to be pest-proof. So whatever you would like to propose has to be, first of all, enclosed, odor tight, low noise, vibration free. Next slide, please. On the regulatory and compliance. So as I said, these studies are still ongoing. Nevertheless, from the information that we got from the hospitals, from the baselines, some hospitals may need to comply with some physical chemical limits of the effluent for the discharge. This may be resulting from the discharge permits. So this is some, at the minimum, some key parameters will need to be checked, like pH, temperature, COD, BOD, suspended solids, oil and grease, nutrients, heavy metals, because some of the hospitals are also using this information to calculate the discharge fees. So that's important. The better these parameters are, it is obvious that the hospitals will also see the benefit in the reduced discharge fees. Hospitals are also subject to the REACH directive and some national rules that are concerning the chemicals and the hazardous waste management. And water reuse, if this would be the case, also will be subject to restrictive compliance with some quality requirements, which is where we see a gap, because there is only the most restrictive regulations that would cover the potential water reuse options for the hospitals are actually in the Spanish Royal Decree. So that means that the solutions will need to be to allow to keep the limits or improve the current discharge parameters of the effluent for the key physical chemical parameters. In none of the countries it is allowed to use dilution as a way to achieve better results. So this has to be, of course, excluded. Concerning another limitation would definitely refer to the different monitoring options and also the sampling points and inspection points where the wastewater, where the effluent can be checked. And whatever solution comes on the table, it will also have to consider that minimum use of any hazardous chemicals, like strong oxidants, like solvents, like any reagents, so that you do not introduce an additional burden to the hospital in handling these types of substances under the REACH directive requirement. And if you think about the option of the water reuse, it has to be risk-based rather than resource-based approach. On the waste generation, I have already touched a little. Nevertheless, whatever will be proposed also has to consider the fact that if there are any waste streams that are arising from the installations, including hazardous waste streams, these should be definitely avoided. It also refers to the technologies themselves and waste that may result from the maintenance and operation of these types of equipment, so that you are not generating any hazardous waste that has to be extra handled by the hospitals. So yeah, and also some administrative and permitting burden constraints. Some of the installations, especially if they would be on the grounds that are outside the hospital premises, but in any case, they will definitely require any permits from the local wastewater treatment companies, and in some cases also from the municipalities, from the cities. So the recommendation here would be that the solutions must be standardizable and low risk, so that these approvals and these formal authorizations can be easily obtained. Next one. Yeah, and one of the major constraints and limitations, which is quite important for you, is data related. You know for sure that there are no thresholds that would specify the maximum content or the removal rates for the target pollutants that have been presented to you. So that is really challenging. We are working on it to come out with a proposal of reasonable solution here. And we also have some limited baseline data concerning what is happening at the hospital grounds. The hospitals do not monitor the pharmaceuticals, so the target contaminants that were presented to you. They also do not monitor routinely some of the key physical chemical parameters, simply because this is not required by law. Also, the estimates on the effluent flow, either daily or yearly, in many cases are based on the water consumption, because these are the typical sensors and meters that are installed in the hospitals, mainly on the inlet of drinking water. So we have some scattered data on those from some periodic measurements on the chemical and physical parameters. And this means that the solutions might need any systems that would include their own monitoring capability and monitoring procedures. And of course, you have to account with the fact that the solutions have to work under high uncertainty of the influent composition. I think this is all from my side. Bartosz, back to you.
Yes, thank you, Isabella. And now it's time for a recording, but let's go with Isabel Barragan from SAS, so she can tell us about the monitoring needs. So, Isabel, are you here?
Yes, hello. I am.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you want me to share?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Here it is. Can you see it?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. Thank you, Bartos.
No problem.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Isabel Barragan. I'm from Fundación Progreso y Salud, representing the Andalusian Public Health System in Theresa project in Spain. And I will talk a bit about the monitoring needs that Isabella has mentioned. As you know, effective wastewater treatment requires real-time feedback to ensure that the system is performing as it should be, and to detect the possible malfunctions as soon as possible, so we can optimize the operations dynamically. That is why Theresa mandates a multi-layer monitoring approach, which should combine conventional parameters, advanced analytics, and biological indicators. But why real-time monitoring? Well, hospital wastewater is highly variable because different reasons. For example, the flow rates fluctuate. It's not the same at night or during the day shifts or during surgery hours. The contaminant loads spike unpredictably. for example, chemotherapy infusion cycles, or because of post-surgical antibiotic courses and different reasons. And also another reason is that the pH and temperature shift with different work activities. That is why this continuous monitoring is necessary. There are different parameters to be monitored: conventional water quality parameters, contaminant-specific monitoring, microbial monitoring, and health system and operational parameters, among others. Next slide, please, Bartos. Well, all the data that is going to be monitored through the solution should be logged continuously in a centralized database, should be visualized in real time via dashboards, should be exported for reporting, accessibly remotely for troubleshooting, time-stamped and traceable, stored securely, and reported transparently. Hospital wastewater is not a clean lab matrix. That is why the monitoring system must tolerate high organic content, suspended solids, variable pH, and temperature swings. Next slide, please. Also, another requirement of the final solutions that will be developed within the project is the need of automated sampling and digital integration. Theresa requires the automation of sampling and the data integration from targeted contaminants. The main reason is that the manual sampling presents different challenges. Nowadays, for example, the manual sampling and data entry are slow, are error-prone, and are incompatible with 24/7 hospital operations. It also requires trained personnel that has to visit the treatment site multiple times every day. The manual sampling also comes with risk of cross-contamination and sample degradation, and it cannot capture transient events, for example, a 30-minute chemotherapy discharge spike. That is why Theresa requires automated sampling system and digital integration, so we will be able to have a real-time oversight and a rapid response. Therefore, for all of these reasons that we have talked about, suppliers must deploy automated samples at both influent and effluent points. And I think that that's all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. So now it's time for a recording for Katarzyna that couldn't be here. So I'm sharing. Okay. I will pause and you tell me if you can hear it.
Okay, so my name is Katarzyna Samborska-Goik.
Can you hear it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I would like to present you a short presentation about treatment efficiency, accuracy, and robustness. In case of removal, efficiency is highly variable and depends on many conditions like pharmaceutical classes, technologies, initial condition, mixture of wastewater, and of course, boundary conditions of technology. And understanding this variation is essential for performance targets, for establishment of performance targets, and designing appropriate protocols for projects. In case of Theresa PCP, there are several targeted substances like cytostatic drugs, antibiotics, contrast agents, MRI agents, and anti-resistant bacteria and anti-resistant genes. And I would like to say a few things about sources of this variability, challenges, problems, and expectation. First, the expectations at the level of proposal. There was 50 to 90% reduction of all contaminants, including cytostatics. There was above 80% reduction. In case of X-ray contrast agents, there was between 40 to 50% reduction. In case of antibiotics, the reduction, the removal rate should be above 90%, and of course for antibiotic-resistant bacteria and genes also above 90% removal rate. Nowadays, there are different approaches. We would like to propose thresholds for removal. In European countries, there is no strict rules like low regulation for presence of antibiotics or other pharmaceuticals in water. So we so we have to rely on guidelines and some precaution levels for surface water or discharges of wastewater. I was responsible for desk study and pilot installation. We have more than 70 studies collected in our database. We wanted to focus on treatment efficiency, but also other data was collected like the technologies, initial conditions, emissions to water or cost energy consumption. Over 100 substances were evaluated based on the removal rate. Also, attention was paid to contaminants of concern like anti-cancer drugs, antibiotics, and other resistant pharmaceuticals. Of the installation, there was 33 pilot installation and 22 full-scale installation, demonstration installation. We collected data about 20 technologies. There is, of course, more popular technologies like membrane bioreactor, membrane process technologies, nanofiltration, ultrafiltration, filtration by sand, activated carbon, and of course activated sludge processes. But there are also more exotic technologies like fungal treatment or, for example, constructed wetland. These investigations were focused on raw hospital wastewater. Of course, there is a mixture in this hospital wastewater from different departments, from kitchen and laundries. In some cases, there was a bypass made on the sewage network system, and the stream was only from one ward, like, for example, oncology department. In case of results, I would like to present you the efficiency treatment for antibiotics from our database. You can see that there is a high variability for this efficiency from minus even 600 to 100 to almost all removal of pharmaceuticals from wastewater, and there is a wide span of the efficiency treatment. And this is not only the case of antibiotics, also for other substances like metabolites, we also have similar phenomena, like the reduction rate is from minus 100 to 100, so the total removal of substance from wastewater. Rarely, in some cases, we have this narrow range. So, but I would like to also underline that the number of cases is also variable, like from 1 cases to even 60 cases. In case of targeted substances, we have X-ray or MRI data, MRI substance. We have iopromide, iohexol, and gadobatrol. In case of iopromide and iohexol, we have data from some studies, from 3 to 18 studies. And the best technology of removal is membrane process or activated sludge process. In case of gadobatrol, which include gadolinium, we have no data at all. In case of cytostatics, we have several substances. Only a few is documented, like cyclophosphamide and iophosphamide. And I have one study for substances that include platinum, like cisplatin, carboplatin. So there are one study, the treatment removal is above 60%. In case of other cytostatics, the removal is very variable from minus, so very negative values, to 80–90%. In case of antibiotics, we targeted not particular substances, but groups of antibiotics. But we have some examples of active substances. A lot of antibiotics. In case of antibiotics, we have more data, like from 1 study to 46 studies, and treatment efficiency is also variable from several percent to 100%, and also we have best performing technology indicated. Eva probably said it earlier, but we have also commercial solution. There are a few commercial solutions on the market, which characterized by high removal of pharmaceuticals, often exceeding 90%. We have Xeno system by Veolia, which achieved average removal of 90% for some pharmaceuticals. We have hybrid membrane and ozonation system by Kubota and Xylem Vedeco. It is also characterized by very high percentage of removal. PharmaFilter, which is very interesting because it is not only removal of pharmaceutical from wastewater, but also from waste. And it also very effective in removing of APs and also removing of resistant genes. And at the end is also Ultra Aqua, which is also very nice in removing pharmaceuticals. What I've noticed during the study days is some challenges. Like in this slide, we have a table from a report from PILS project, and we have 2 cases from Germany, from Netherlands, and you can see that the number of samples is quite limited. There are 6 samples from Germany and 6 samples from Netherlands during the project, so it is not very, it is quite modest. And we have style of reporting. We have usually mean, plus minus standard deviation, but we don't know what is this mean. Is it average, like arithmetic average, or median? Also, the standard deviation is very high in some cases, which means that there is high variability. So at the end of the day, we cannot say what is the exact removal rate for some pharmaceuticals. Also, the challenging is tackling with seasonality, because the wastewater from hospital is not the same during the year. Of course, we have some spikes from antibiotics during the winter or early spring. So it is nice to handle this seasonality in performance. I found only one study which presents the exact concentration of pharmaceutical in wastewater in different seasons. So this is challenging, I think. Also robustness. I have to say a few words about robustness. What does it mean? It means that the performance, the technology is resilient for some changes. Changes in, of course, flow of water, so inflow of water from different departments and from different units, changing in wastewater characteristic like chemical concentration. Also, it should be reliable in case of some failure, like clogging, corrosion, some alarm system. Also, it would be nice to have safe operation for staff that should be trained. And also the integration with hospital conditions, so compatibility with space constraints and, of course, existing infrastructure. And shortly, conclusion. First, the removal efficiency exceeding 90% can be achieved, of course, using different technology. It can be one technology or some hybrid solution configuration, but it should be measured and monitored and investigated during the whole year, I think. Accuracy. In case of treatment efficiency, we have to rely on some analytical measurements that should be valid, should be high quality, high fidelity, and we have to remember how we display the data, how we display the results, so what is mean, what is standard deviation. And of course, at the end, we should rely on this technology. Should be resilient for different conditions, for different problems during the operation. So I think that's the case. And of course, I have to say a few words about other expectation, because we don't only want to great performance, but we want to like recycling and cost effectiveness. So thank you for your attention. Sorry for inconvenience. I have to pre-recorded this presentation, but I think that Eva and Isabella are the expert and can answer on your question.
Okay, that was the recording, and we have finished with the technical requirements, and we go to the part from the OMC explanation for Sofia. So if you want to share, Sofia, the presentation.
Sophia, you are muted.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, what is an open market consultation? That is where we are now, and why we need that. Well, in a PCP like Theresa, the hospitals are defining what are the needs that they have unsolved so far, and then they expect the industry and the research community to facilitate solutions for it. Well, we need to be sure that what we are asking for is, on one hand, feasible, and on the other one, future-proof, because the solution developed through Theresa will not be commercial before 4 or 5 years. Then the way to know if we are on the right path is to interact with the industry to know this, to have these answers. So the first objective of the OMC is to open the dialogue to know if the things that we are asking for, if the time that we foreseen for that, if the distribution of the budget, if all the component that we have put in our tender makes sense to the industry to facilitate these solutions. Another objective is to make you, industry and research center, aware of the coming tender of Theresa and the opportunities that it brings to encourage you all to participate in our future tender. And we are conscious that the solution that we expect are complex, comprehensive, and we expect that they provide a holistic solution to our problem. So it will be necessary that the participant companies create consortia. And to facilitate the creation of this consortium, we have habilitated a matchmaking tool into our website. Who do we expect to participate in our open market consultation? Well, we expect all stakeholders of the ecosystem to be present. Of course, industry, large, small, disruptive, spin-off, etc., are mostly welcome. Research center universities with state-of-the-art development are also very much welcome, but it will be great to have also the opinion of the environmental institution or of other hospitals or any other entity with a say on all this. And don't forget that we also need companies able to coordinate the work of all the rest and to understand the PCP procedure, etc. So what the OMC, the open market consultation offer for suppliers, it facilitates you to know our needs and priorities, the needs and priorities of our hospitals in advance, to know how the future tender will look like and what are the issues that concern us most, to um, uh, to make you famous in the community, especially if you participate in our pitches. You will start to be known by hospitals and by other and the rest of the ecosystem. And the most important thing is that you will influence the preparation of our tenders. It means that we will adapt the tender to what the industry says. If you don't say nothing, then maybe they will not be so adapted. And for us, for the buyer groups and supporter, we can cross-check and clarify that our assumptions for the call for tenders are adapted to the market, to get new information that we have not been able to collect so far, and to create awareness in the market for participation. So what are the mechanisms that we have put in place? There is a list of events like this one. We are in the third one. There are still another 3. Each of the events is focusing on a specific and concrete aspect. All of them have a general presentation and then a focus on one of the topics, and also a focus on the local hospitals and local constraint and context depending on the country. The final one will be a wrap-up event where the findings of the OMC will be presented. We have the matchmaking tool to facilitate the creation of consortia. We have pitch section into each of the events to facilitate the ecosystem to know each other. We have bilateral meetings with companies to go deeper on the potential solution that they could present. And very, very important, our most important tool is the questionnaire. I will show it later, more in depth. To participate in the pitch section and the bilateral meeting, you have to fill the questionnaire. How to provide feedback? I mentioned already the pitches and the questionnaire and the matchmaking platform. We also have a question and answer section where all questions arising from anywhere will be put there. We will not disclose by any means any technical or commercial information that may have been provided by the participant which has been designated as confidential. You must identify in the documentation that you provide what is considered confidential, but please don't define as confidential all the information provided. You have to designate as confidential those documents that really make sense and have reason for that. Another thing that is very important is that you should always be aware that participation in the open market consultation does not constitute a condition for participation in any subsequent procurement procedure and will not result in any advantage, preferential treatment, or prejudice in the context or any future tender or contract award. So it will not have any advantage. It is not necessary. Your participation will be on a voluntary basis, and the advantage are those that has been described previously. I will show you quickly our website, where you can find an access to the open market consultation. Here you can check the OMC events and register for them. And you have here two important sections. One is the scope and one is the questionnaire. The scope is a document that you must use in parallel when you fill up the questionnaire, because there in the scope document, we have put all the information that we have been able to collect in relationship to the Theresa tender. You will find everything in there. And if you go to the questionnaire, you will find a tool that is built on top of an tools that is the EU survey. You will find a lot of sections. The questionnaire is very long, but please, we don't expect you to fill in it completely. We expect you to answer only those sections for which you have a valuable input and a substantiated answer. Please concentrate on those sections where you can really add value. We are conscious that it's very difficult that any company could provide a full answer to our problem. So if you have a partial solution, you will find that we have a section that the one of technology component, that has to be filled for each of the modules of the solution. If you have more than one, please use more than one questionnaire. We will compile the information later. If when you go to some of our section where you find extensive tables for data that we expect to collect from you, if you have this information in a file that we can use, please upload the file and we will extract the information from there. If you find that there is something important that we didn't ask for, please ask it, even if we didn't answer in any of the text field that we provide for you. One very important thing is that you must be sure that when you finish, you properly submit the questionnaire. Please, you have to fill this CAPTCHA and be sure that you submit, otherwise we will not receive it. In case you need a template of this questionnaire in Word to facilitate your job, please ask for it in our contact through the contact in the website. If you want to have more information about this OMC participation, you will find that in the previous event, the one in Estonia, we have developed a little bit more the details of this participation. Please send us your information. We need your knowledge to be able to tailor the tender to the real opportunities that the research and development ecosystem in water in Europe is facilitating. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sofia. So now it's time for the hospital participating context from Poland. So, Marcin, do you want me to share or do you want?
No, I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Well, probably I wouldn't call the context a situation, but that's a different thing. I would like to strengthen what my colleagues has just said. We realized that it's just almost a quote from Sophia, that it's sometimes very difficult for a company to cover everything. That's why we really encourage you to talk to one another, to create consortia, and we are more than happy to see a consortium because we prefer the better solution instead of just somebody who does everything by himself or herself. Of course, that's also the case, but that's just encouragement for you just to talk to one another. You also saw that we have created tools to protect your data and your concepts. That's why if you don't want to share something in public, we understand that and we respect that, and this information will not be published anywhere. It's just for us to understand whether we can work together. And also, we started with the target of decreasing the contamination by percentage, but then we realized that sometimes even removing 90% of something is still not enough. That's why we try to establish this threshold, though that is not easy because as you just heard, there is not a lot of information about that. Okay, so having said that, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's start. This is the map of Poland. You already saw the map of Europe, and Olsztyn is located in the northeast of Poland. The full Polish name is Wojewódzki Szpital Specjalistyczny w Olsztynie. Please do not try to pronounce that. This is Polish. Polish is the second most difficult language in the world, and that's not just boasting. That's a fact. So if you just say Olsztyn Hospital or WSS, we will know that probably it's about us. Okay, so that's where we are located. You have seen the division of Poland between different provinces, and the hospital covers not only the area that you can see, but sometimes also patients from the neighboring areas come to Olsztyn due, to the fame of the hospital and services that are provided. All right, so that's a brief introduction. I'm not going to go into details. I'm just trying to show you that we are big as far as at least Polish average is concerned. Also, the European language, we are probably twice as big as a average European hospital, bed-wise. We provide inpatient, outpatient services, diagnostic services, and I would like to stress here the diagnostic as being such a big hospital and as the biggest by far. We not only serve the patients that come, but we also provide services for people who are treated in other hospitals. So that's why for instance, the contrast that we have in our wastewater is probably higher than on average. Okay, now let's back to being in Europe. Of course, every hospital is in this project is important. If I was to say why we are important, this is because we represent a relatively big country. I'm not saying we are better, we're simply bigger. We also have the heritage of being under the communist regime. So still there's an influence of what was 30 years ago. Let's say that some mentality sometimes, the way we regulate things. So if we can do business with Poland, we probably can also do business with Czechia, with Latvia, Lithuania. Estonia is already our partner, and we already had a great presentation last time. What applies to Polish at least hospitals, I also believe that it could be a case of others, that we are limited with the size of the contract that we have. So if our national payer, the National Health Fund, pays us a certain amount of money for treating people, we can treat as many as we can within this budget. So if there's bigger demand for that, so we not always can fulfill all the demand. This also has the influence on other things, which is the fluctuation, let's say, of the use of the water. For instance, during the summer months, we have less patients because we have doctors and nurses and other people on holidays. So then probably there's fewer patients that on average. And also due to the thing I already said, so the contract with the National Health Fund, we can also have relatively smaller amount of patients at the end of the year. So surely December, most likely November is also a bit influenced. Okay, and now to Karina Rzymowska, with whom we are working on the project. Karina, just tell me where to go next.
Okay, thank you. My name is Karina Rzymowska. I work in WSS in Olsztyn. And I present slide about what we need, what limits us, and what law we must respect. Hospital needs a wastewater treatment plan that will process wastewater to achieve the highest level of purity and safety of the treated water before its reuse. It will reduce the cost of discharging wastewater to the municipal treatment plan, improve the safety and residence of the environment. Next slide, please. We've got limitation. We've got limitation space, localization issues. We've got limitation about treatment plan, operating hours, noise, smell, terrain. The hospital can't accept burdensome condition for the patient and others residents. Next slide, please. The main legal act governing the issuance of permits and decision are Polish Water Law 2017, Act of Collective Water Supply and Collective Wastewater Disposal 2001. Next slide, please. Construction Law 1994, Environment Protection Law 2001, and Waste Act 2012. Next, please, slide. International environment and European Union drives. We've got antimicrobial residence regulation emergency. Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive 2024-2019 and One Health Action Plan against antimicrobial residence. All this international regulation may in the future affect to quantity and quality of permissible pollutions in Poland. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. Before we go any further, there was a question in the Q&A section. Jorge Garcia, what Isabella was saying is relevant for the whole consortium. So from when we started again to talk, so the map with the blue map is about specificity of the hospital, but anything that was before that is generally for the whole consortium. All right then. So this is the hospital campus. You can see that it is okay. And one more thing, because Karina mentioned that we have problems with the space within the hospital. We have a saying in Polish that our walls are not built of the gum. So this is not elastic. We just have to stick to what it is, and that is also the case of other hospitals, where there are more and more pieces of equipment, usually the medical equipment, that we have to store within the hospital. So the space in hospital buildings is really something that causes problems. So this is again for most of the hospitals. Okay, so back again. There will be another map in a moment, but here you can see that we are located in maybe not the heart of the town, but in the center. In the picture here, you can see there's a, let's say, strangely shaped building. This is the main building. Then we have a high one, which is also the main building. And there's a part of the main building which you don't see at the moment, which is behind that that one. There are other services here. So on the left, there's ambulatory services. In between, there's a dialysis station, and here you have the helipod. Altogether, we were talking about 6 buildings. They are all metered, so we know how much water comes and goes out. We have the internal sewage system, which, let's say, is a separate from the municipal one. Is also we have separate sewage and rainwater systems. We consume that much of water every year, so about more than 50,000 cubic meters. Which goes to 4,500 cubic meters per month. Most of it is used by the main building, which I just showed you. The next, but as you can see, much smaller is the dialysis unit, and then we go even less than that. So that's the hospital. You can see a lot of blocks of flats all around. You can see the street. Okay, you can see some of the streets that are pretty busy all the time, and there are important tracks for ocean communication. So we are, as I said, maybe not in the heart of the town, but within the city center, which also demands, and that's what Karina was talking about, that we must not use solutions that, for instance, stink or are noisy, because there are just people around there. And it also is a case of most of the hospitals in Europe. They were built when, sometimes even if they were built, a bit outside of the city, due to the growth of the cities, now they are within the city, or sometimes even in the center of the city. Okay, so that's the campus. Okay, and that's the map. So I told you that the A is the main building. You can just try to recognize the shape. What is on the bottom is a part that you didn't see. So this is A, and A is not only the biggest user of water, but also it's, let's say, the most diverse. So you can see that there's a lot of different things that are in this water, or wastewater. 8 stories, so quite high. All others are pretty low, and with different kind of wastewater. But this is not as let's say complicated or as in the case of the main building. You can also see the things that are marked in green frames, and these are the things that are related to somehow to healthcare. So on the right-hand side, on the bottom, you can see the provincial center for sanitary inspection. So probably they are not, the users, but I think that they would be interested in learning that such a thing happens, that actually happens, just next door. On the top, there's the dental clinic, so maybe that not much of use of the water, but on the left one, here on the bottom, there's a Szpital Dziecięcy, which stands for Children's Hospital. So that is your probably next customer. If you do something that works in our hospitals, the customer can just walk for, I don't know, 200 meters or 300 meters and see it by themselves. All right. As I mentioned, we have the internal sewage system. I wouldn't say that it's standard, but it's, let's say, normal, if I can use such a word. So there are pipes, there are chambers, there are everything. What is important, and I'm going to show it in a map just in a moment, we have 4 discharge points to the municipal sewage system, and they are all based on gravity. So you'll also see on the map later that there's differences in the heights. Hospital is located in one of the highest points in Olsztyn, which also is kind of things to be taken into consideration when we are talking about moving water back and forth. Right. I'm going to show you the map in a moment. It's a bit complicated. There's a lot of details, so let us go one by one so you can have a better understanding and seeing things that are in this picture that shows the internal sewage system. Okay, I know it's a lot, so don't worry, don't panic. First, I'll show you the map that I just showed you. So that is how what you just see. Let me remove this map and turn it so we can have a connection with the last one. So that's what you just seen. That's what we are going to see in a moment. So it's a bit twisted. And now we can go to the final map of that slide. You can see the main building. You can see all other buildings. You can see if something is marked in I would say a bit brown, but I know the colors are always a point of discussion. So that's a bit complicated. Within the hospital, there's also something that's outside the hospital, it's not ours. And in the marked in red, you can see the municipal sewage collectors. And as I just said, we have four of them, almost in every corner, which means that some of the wastewater goes here, some there, but it is all in a more or less short distance. Right. Our specificity or our conditions, we don't have the capacity or knowledge and to run the system and maintain it fully, etc., etc. So this is outsourced to the other company. We of course have somebody who oversees that and checks what's happening, and of course our employees also, go around, do the daily checks. But when it comes to servicing or repairing, we do require somebody to do that. Right. We also have, as I mentioned, the rainwater drainage system. I don't know if it's of the key importance, but just to let you know, if somebody has a solution that, for instance, uses that, this is also something that is to be used. This is also more or less, let's say, the standard thing. It also works on gravity. Here you can see the map of Olsztyn. You can see where this hospital is located. Warmia, Mazury, which is the province we are talking about, is sometimes called the green lungs of Poland. It's due to the very unique environment and characteristic. There's a lot of post-glacial lakes. There's a lot of forestry. It's a place where people would go for holidays, for instance, in Poland. And we are, as you can see, in the city center almost. Right. I mentioned it already, but there's something that is more specific to our hospitals, which is this possibility of reuse of water. Apart from what we just saw and heard, all these requirements, we think that there's a possibility of use the water from the central sterilization station and dialysis unit for a number of reasons. First of all, they are relatively big sources of water. This is not as big as the main building, but you can see pretty substantial. These are located very close one from another. We're talking about 50 meters, so it's very close. And it is not as contaminated as the other water we just talked about. We did some preliminary tests, so this is not something to be treated like a Bible, but we can see that the water that comes from these sources would probably be a bit easier to treat. So please make a use of that as well. Most of hospitals would have central sterilization, and pretty many, and I think in our case, it's almost everybody has the dialysis unit as well. And that's where located. You can see again the main building. You have the central sterilization, the dialysis unit. As you can see, they are very close from one another. And that's it on my side. Bartosz?
Perfect. So now it's time for pitches. So I'm going to call for Sergei, for example. Tell me if you want me to share, Sergei, or do you want to share? I think you...
Please share.
Okay.
Let me also comment that Sergei is with us for some time already, so we are pleased that you are still with us, coming and learning new things and also providing some new information, because as Sofia mentioned, we do need more information. We really want people to tell us whether we are wrong or where we should head. So people like Sergei and other people who share their knowledge are of key importance for us. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the presentation, right, Sergei?
I sent a version yesterday. If it is this one, then it is right presentation.
Yeah, I just download.
Yes, thank you. I have to say that I'm impressed with today's meeting by the number of highly qualified assessments and let's say reviews on the existing information and potential solutions. And this is what is really good, because people providing that are definitely able to assess properly what I'm going to present here right now. We are talking about replacement of ozone and any other advanced oxidation process in wastewater treatment with a highly effective, cost-efficient, and simple and compact alternative. At the first slide, you may see the window of our reactor with plasma electrodes, which demonstrate the glow of pulsed corona discharge, which is the feature of our solution offer. Please, next slide. Thank you. I start with the picture. On the left side, in the left jar, you may see the original hospital wastewater in the city of Lappeenranta, Finland. And on the right side, you may see the same water treated with pulsed corona discharge in extremely inconvenient conditions, when the suspended solids were simply filtered or settled out, so that all the colloids are still in there, and the result was still satisfactory, having medical drugs or pharmaceuticals removed to the extent over 90%. 58 of those. We have a scientific publication on the result of this experiment. The idea of the solution is a pre-treatment of hospital wastewater being further disposed to the municipal sewage mains for traditional treatment, so that the pharmaceuticals are removed at the pretreatment stage. Inevitably, the wastewater contains suspended solids, which will also contain pharmaceuticals. And this is the main question I would like to raise here, for the reason that, do we want it or not, we have to do something with the settlings. So what we suggest, we might remove settlings or suspended solids by simple settling, aided preferably with a coagulant. And further, I have a further slide explaining what do I mean. As to the clarified water, The pulsed corona discharge presents a perfect approach in terms of oxidation, non-selective oxidation of all the pharmaceuticals to a high degree of removal at pretty moderate energy consumption. We are talking about a few hundreds watt hour per cubic meter of water. Parallel to that, we also disinfect this wastewater and destroy all other organic compounds we are interested in. Can we please see the next slide? Yes. Solution strategy, what we are talking about is at the scheme, so that we have wastewater treated for setting, and clear wastewater is treated for plasma with plasma, so that we have it practically pharma-free. Another stage of headache is the primary sludge. What we have to do something with that. And the question is, should we dispose it together with purified water to the mains, passing this problem to the municipal wastewater treatment plant with all their anaerobic digestion and utilization of biogas, or the hospital has to handle it on spot. So these are targets, tolerance, and conditions on the right side of the slide, that either we want to remove all the pharmaceuticals, that's the question to the project organizers, project holders, and do we dispose the settlings, or we manage them by ourselves. Next slide, please. This is just to remind listeners about the essence of pulsed corona discharge, which provides plasma containing active oxidants. And what is the most interesting, that the radicals, these hydroxyl radicals and other active oxidants, are formed at the surface of water sprinkled into the plasma zone. Another interesting feature is that all the molecules demonstrated today here of this let's say, pharmaceuticals in general, are of partially hydrophobic properties, character, gathering at the same surface from inside, at which we have hydroxyl radicals concentrated from outside, having them brought into the tight contact, and we have experimental proof for that. I will also tell 2 words about that. Let us see the next slide. Thank you. The approach was tested. Approach was tested at 2 types of hospital wastewaters in Finland. One hospital was South Karelia Central Hospital, Lappeenranta city in Finland, and another was medical institution in Espoo, next to the capital of the country, Helsinki. In the first case, as I mentioned already, the primary wastewater was treated with pulse corona discharge, I would say straight after the settlings removal, rough removal. So if we are talking about proper approach, I would remove more than that. I would remove also colloids and apply pulse corona discharge, having the result much better, much better. In the case of second institution, the institution has its own water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant, including biotreatment. And as a result of that, it was biologically treated wastewater with energy dose from 100 to 300 watt-hour per cubic meter, removing more than 90% of residual pharmaceuticals. At the picture, you may see the pilot device with pulse power around 2 to 3 kilowatts, able to treat few tenths of cubic meters per hour. Please, next slide. I would like to see the previous one. This one, yes, thank you. These are two references which are straightly connected to hospital wastewaters and the fraction of that. The first one is about hospital wastewater, the results of which are described in details, and the second one we were treating source separated human urine for removal of carbamazepine with remarkable, I would say, excellent results. This indicates that pulse corona discharge is indeed unique, energy efficient approach to concentrated wastewaters, as concentrated as human urine, for example. And the next slide, please, and the last one. Thank you. So I don't know what I should comment on this text. We have a very good treatment method which saves energy. We surpass ozonation by the factor from 2 to 10, dependent on the process organization, in energy consumption. So if we are talking about advanced oxidation processes, this one is definitely the most advanced and economical advanced oxidation process. Due to energy efficiency, it leaves a reduced carbon footprint, no noise, very compact, no vibrations, and modular structure. Simple, reliable, no sign of corrosion. In the first device we built in 2009, still works all right. And this is probably the last slide. I don't see anything I can... sorry, this one is, I have to emphasize here. University is not the organization, not the company which will provide the service. We work in tight cooperation with Vuoksi, Osakeyhtiöt Oy, in Lappeenranta, Finland, which provides the device, its automation, connection to the system of hospital, and making all necessary things. We provide research support. We have laboratory device. which is necessary for tailoring the technology. And we need partners in this solution, which are perfectly described in our questionnaires, both VOXI and Tallinn Technical University. This is it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. So now it's time for Matish. Here it is. Okay, now you have the power, Matish, to share if you want, or do you want
I will
me
share.
to?
It's okay. I will share.
Okay, perfect.
The only thing is that I need to find my own presentation. I think it will be this one. You can see it?
Yes.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm from Zero, one of the founders and managing directors. Zero is a water technology firm for healthcare. So we've completely focused on healthcare. So I'm listening very carefully on all the information that you shared already. It's a very interesting framework for us because we are so long active already in this sector, and we see now maybe finally that things are moving forward. Our mission is to provide smart water technology at the source, so really at the source, at the patient level. And then we reduce medical pollution from those specific patient groups in a hospital by installing machines on a radiology ward or on a nuclear medicine ward or any other wards, and recover and strive for circularity of those raw materials that we can filter out, like iodine or gadolinium, which is one of the key products of a contrast media. And in that way, for some wards, there was one slide in this session that refers to nuclear medicine. There is only a strict regulation on nuclear medicine, but when you comply to it, you can increase your treatment capacity, and that's very relevant for the upcoming market of nuclear medicine as a strong medicine towards cancer therapy. So I don't want to elaborate on the specific problem. We all know this because it was presented already. Here you see a couple of our systems that we are we have installed for radiology departments, and we sometimes, like in these pictures, use the disabled toilet room to have a little bit more space and to combine a urinal, a men's toilet, and a normal toilet. Our point sources and where we focus on is that we have a source capture from the urine, because almost everything you take, particularly in the quick excretion phase of patients, is excreted by the urine. So by capturing and focus on the concentration of the urine, you have high concentrations of medical pollution and low volume, which is a unique combination of very efficient treatment methods. We use adsorbences in particular. We don't want to destruct because we have the aim to be more circular, both in our filters, by regenerating our filters, as well as by recapturing the source materials, like I was referring to it for contrast media. So most of our systems, and it's not only toilets, but are sanitary based at the source, and they are tailored to target medical residues. So we have specific filters for contrast media that are tailored for contrast media. We have a more broadened spectrum that is tailored for the ICU, for the intensive care units, for example, where there is a much broader application of different kind of medicines like antibiotics, anesthetics, etc. And in order to prove the effectiveness of the filters, we have always set up monitoring methods together with our clients and build up quite a lot of data on contrast media removal, ICU medicine removal, and nuclear medicine removal. So expected impact, I hope that this solution can be part of the biggest solution that we need to target the medical pollutants in our waters and environment. It's not the only solution, but it's a very effective way to individually address hotspots in a hospital. we already have quite some clients, 30+ hospital projects, of which the most of them are in our home countries like the Netherlands and Belgium. But we also have some contrast media systems in Italy, Germany, and France. And like I already referred to, we try and we make the filters as circular as possible, so we regenerate them. We have a very low energy use of our systems because they just need to be, they are implemented in the complete hospital process, and we enable the recovery. So I hope that in Theresa we will use our proven building blocks or modular systems to develop and validate next generation configurations in which we can broaden the scope and accelerate our scalable option for hospitals. And I am particularly interested in new application modules or systems for oncology, or to spread through the whole floor and wards, and to find optimized best fits for other applications. And post Theresa could be a success that is depending on 3 pillars, like lowering the thresholds with viable investments for and a clear regulatory pathway. And one thing I want to add actually to our approach, it's we really intervene with the patient because he is asked to use a special toilet, and that is not only for hospitalized patients, it's particularly for outpatient patients as well. So within an hour, you will excrete about 50% of your dose in many cases. So the management of patients and make them collaborating, so the soft factors of our technology are just as important as the technology factors. So this is what I wanted to present to you. There's a lot to tell and a lot of experience to share, and hopefully we can join this project in the future so we can share our knowledge with the audience. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Matish. So now it's time for the summary, for the recap of the question and answers. So maybe John, do you want to take the stage?
Yeah. Presented.
Can't hear you.
We cannot hear you properly, John.
Can't hear me? Is it better now?
Now we
Yeah?
can. Thank you.
Okay, it's maybe I will be closer to the microphone. First of all, to all of you, to the ones that have presented today during this third event, and to the ones that have attended. We have less questions than the days before. I just wanted to remind that the questions that we gathered here during the sessions and during the events, we will publish them with the rest of the questions that arrived to the mail or through different ways. Okay. And nevertheless, we will answer also them here. We have a couple of questions. One that was done a little before, that the question said that within the grant that may be potentially awarded, they wanted to know if the budget also includes the infrastructure modification or civil works that the hospital must carry out to divert the water to the system, or if there is a separate budget. Okay, we wanted to clarify that in the third phase we have identified as necessary to have a separated budget for that, and we thought that it would like 100,000 euros. So the expected budget for some civil works or infrastructure modifications. Okay, but this is also something that you can tell us in the questionnaire, in the feedback that we receive from you. Okay, if this is enough or not, but yeah, that's something that we identified at the beginning of the project. And then there is another question that Marcin already answered, but we will also address it here, that if the constraints and limitations presented during the Eva and Isabella's intervention was limited to the Polish case, or if it was a compendium of the different hospitals. As Marcin said, it was a compendium of the different hospitals. These were some common limitations, but then each hospital in each of the sessions is presenting its own situation. So you will find more details. For example, today in the Holstein's hospital, but in the previous ones, for example, in the case of Estonia, they also presented some details and limitations regarding their hospital, and it will be done the same way in the future events. So if you need more detail, you can attend the following events, and of course we can also have that feedback with you during the whole process of the project, so you know more information about the hospitals that you feel is valuable for your proposal. So that would be it. Okay, we don't have more questions, but don't forget that you can write to us to our email, so we can gather more questions. And as I said, we will publish all the answers in the Q&A section of the website.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm writing in the chat the email for any question that you may have. Unless you have any question right now, we can end this event, and we can see in the next event this Friday, which will be held by SAS Hospital, and legal, ethical, and interoperability aspects, including IPR and GDPR, will be the technical aspects from this event. So,
Marcos?
Yes?
Can I just say 2 or 3 sentences?
Yes,
later on?
of course.
Okay. All right. So guys, we're really pleased that you came. We are really pleased with all the information you shared with us, because as we already mentioned, we do need to know more before we take decision. We will do it because we have to. So it's not just, asking to bother somebody, but we really need to have this solution. So this is serious. And I'm glad that we have Matthias and Sergei with us today that follow us. I do hope they will also come to the next meetings. Bring your friends. Like Matthias said, that they may fit for just a piece of the solution. So as I already mentioned, as Sophia mentioned, create consortia. We are happy with consortia, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, and thank you.
Thank you.